Well, I volunteered in the Marine Corps when I was still a senior in high school in February with the exception that we would get to spend the summer to enjoy ourselves because we pretty much knew where we were going. At that time, everybody, that's where they were going. If you were going to be infantry, you'd be going to Vietnam. So we enjoyed our summer and got to boot camp in October and graduated on December 24th, and then went through a little bit more training and ended up in Vietnam in February of '69. 19-year-old, and we went by commercial airline to Saigon. It's pretty cool, nice, But then from Saigon, we went to Da Nang in a C-130. It's a little bit more rougher. And then from Da Nang, they took us on 6-bys over to Quang Tri. And then Quang Tri was not too long either, and they put us on helicopters and took us up to our battalion rear, which was in Firebase Vandegrift, which is up in the DMZ area. We weren't up in the I Corps. The first thing they did is for 2 weeks that they had the inclement to the weather. So they would load our backpacks with rocks and sea rations and everything, try to get, that 30, 40, 50 pound weight. And they would parade us around the compound, getting us used to the heat. And it was bad. That was bad. They said, "But do you think this is bad? Wait till you get out in the jungle." So bad that we lost the guy there because he's a Marine. He wanted to tough it out and he was pushing it. Well, he got a heat stroke and he died right there on the trail before we got back to the rear. They tried all kinds of stuff to bring him back, but a heat stroke got him. And all they told us, that's why it's important we're doing what you do now. It wasn't within, after that, a couple of weeks ended up out in the DMZ, Firebase Russell, which is spitting limit from the DMZ, and doing patrols and operations from there in the jungle. The heat was something else, but the mosquitoes were even worse. I mean, we used to classify them as B-52 bombers because around here you hear that, zzz, over there you heard boo. I mean, those things are huge, and boy, they leave some big welts on you. But, and that's 24/7, We used to say war is hell, but combat is something else, and it's true. Because my first firefight, we lost about 7 guys, starting with the point man, the radio man, the end man, and pretty much the way it went. I started getting letters from home saying, "Hey, Nixon's the president, and he's going to keep his promise. He's going to pull us all out." This was back in March of '69. I said, "Hey, well, cool. Nobody's told us anything about that." Next thing we know is March, April, May, June, July. Hey, when's he going to pull us out? July, August, September. Where's he going to pull us? Finally, we get the word, and we get pulled out around November. We didn't actually get out till December. By that time, my tour was already over. I was wounded on Dong Tu Mountain, received some shrapnel and some concussions in July of '69. I lost quite a few buddies here and there. Each one of our firefights, we'd have anywhere from, 6, 7 casualties to a couple of dozen casualties, depending on what it was, But life goes on, and you're there to try to survive, because a lot of times you feel like, you want to give up. You're humping all day in the heat, the rain, whatever it might be. At night, because we never settle on the ground, we were high ground. And it might take us till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night to get to the high ground. And then they tell you, "Hey, okay, this is your post," And you get there and you're not going to, your first month, you might be all active up there looking around every which way. But by 3rd, 4th month, you're there like, you know what? They want me, come and get me. I'm done. Stick a fork in me, You get all real depressed, very relaxed, and that kind of stuff, But by the grace of God, survived, and came back, and luckily, the rest is history, And now I belong to a group of veterans that experienced the same thing I did from different levels. And we're here to support and help our community that we went through the high schools that we went through. And the Edgewood District veterans have done a lot for me when you're talking about PTSD, because we can relate, we can talk, and they know what you're talking about, First time I came here, I came with the Purple Heart group. And again, that's another group that I joined, and what psychiatrists couldn't do for me in the VA or whatever else, these groups were able to do to me, because they're my kind of people, not only Marines, but people that experienced the Vietnam War, and can actually relate to what they're doing. So I thank God for those people and these people, and I think that we do a good job, a wonderful job of supporting our community and our former high schools. In the Edgewood District the high school, the district, which was Edgewood, Kennedy, and Memorial. Now it's just Edgewood, Kennedy and Memorial. They closed the high school, but we provide scholarships, and we help the community in any way, shape, or form. We do fundraisers like spaghetti dinners, we do golf tournaments and fundraisers and things like that. And that's a group that I brought today because I found out through the Purple Heart group about Mr. Lin and his museum. And we put in a request, and I brought some because we're about 130 strong, but active, we got maybe 60, and then we got a smaller group that is really, really tight. And as part of that is what I brought today, and enjoying it. And same thing as Mr. Lind, experienced, is what we all experienced. He did it in the Army, I brought in Navy, Army, Marines, Air Force, everything. So I mainly, like I said, I want to give God the honor and glory for my salvation and the fact that I was allowed to return when a lot of my buddies didn't. So here I am.